You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Welcome to another episode of the OHL in 60 podcast. We are back together. Feels like it's been forever since we've done a show together. Probably 3 weeks, I think it's been.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks.
Stuff has gone on, but we're all right. Colin got sick. I got scheduled to work. And well, now we're back. So glad to have you along with us for this one. And what a way to come back, by the way. This is kind of a loaded episode. Maybe not in terms of headlines or content off the top, but definitely the middle part of the show is going to be pretty important. So he's Colin Ward. I'm Reece, Doumani, BC up in the clouds, running everything technically. Glad to have you tuned in for this edition of the OHL in 60 podcast, whether you're watching us on the Armchair GM Sports Network's YouTube page, whether you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform. We really appreciate it. I kind of got the ball rolling with how we're going to start. We've got a few OHL headlines to get to, not a ton, but enough that we're going to get off hot to start the show. We're going to look at Red Tilson, potential winners, as the OHL tweeted out a list, kind of asking fans who they think might take home the Red Tilson. So that would be a fun conversation, of course.
Yeah.
Players of the week, always a staple on the show. And then you see it right there. Segment number 2, Windsor Spitfires history maker, Windsor Spitfires goaltender, and hopefully the man that the Spitfires fans are hoping takes them to the promised land and another OHL championship for the first time since the early 2010s early 2010s. Yeah, 2010 is early 2010. Yeah, good one, Reece. Joey Costanzo gonna join us on the show for the second segment, so we're really fired up about that. I'm gonna be like the third wheel in this because it's gonna be the two goaltenders probably yakking it up about goalie.
Got a lot of style, a lot of style questions. I think I have like 25 questions.
Yeah,
it'll be great.
It's gonna be really fun. We're looking forward to that. So Joey Costanzo going to join us, and then afterwards, we feel very confident who the bottom 4 teams are going to be once the regular season has come to an end. Can things change? Sure. Would those teams make us look like idiots if they made the playoffs? Sure. But we feel very confident in the bottom 4 teams, bottom 2 in the East, bottom 2 in the West. So we're going to run the draft lottery simulator again. It's been a number of weeks since we've done that. So we will touch on that. And then if we have time, we'll get to everybody's favorite part of the show, the power rankings on the OHL in 60 podcast. That'll be a good one. So we're going to kick things off. It was an unfortunate end to the Olympics for Team Canada. Obviously for anyone that got up for it. And I mean, it's a normal time, getting up at 8 a.m. It's not like it's that bad. To all the idiots on social media saying it was too early. Okay. But
the amount of Olympics I watched over the last 2 weeks was unbelievable.
I love how many bars sold out of spots for people that went to watch the game. That was awesome.
That was unbelievable. Great for business. It's great for business. I think it's great. 8 o'clock. Start them all at 8. Obviously, we're selling out bars and businesses are happy. Why wouldn't we be happy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Exactly. So it was a 2-1 game in favor of the United States in 3-on-3 overtime. It just sucked. It was very unfortunate. But there were 13 OHL alum to take home medals, and that's obviously with the U.S., with Canada, and then Finland, who grabbed the bronze medal. But talked about JT Miller, Matthew Tkachuk, Vincent Trocheck, the 3 Americans taking home the gold medal. On Canada, of course, Jordan Binnington, Drew Doughty, Thomas Harley, Sam Bennett, Bo Horvat, Mitch Marner, Connor McDavid, Nick Suzuki, and Tom Wilson. And then the lone Finn, Olli Maatta, former Detroit Red Wing, former London Knight, now part of the Utah Mammoths. So congratulations to all 13 of those guys. And maybe some of them make us feel old, but maybe especially Doughty. But other than that, I mean, a medal's a medal, right? It sucks Canada lost. Don't get me wrong. I still think it's a better result than winning your last game and taking bronze. I know that might sound stupid, and bronze, at least you win your last game, and it's like
down the road.
Okay, whatever. But it was bound to happen, and that's not to say that Canada was due to lose. That I think that's the wrong way to put that, but it was going to happen eventually. I mean, the U.S. hasn't won in 46 years. That's a fairly long time. So that's the way I look at it. Again, congrats to those three: JT Miller, Matthew Tkachuk, Vincent Trocheck. But silver medal, nothing to really be upset about. It is what it is. It happened. And you take your medal and plushie. Shout out to Nathan McKinnon for that reaction. But it's silver's a silver, and to even be competing at the Olympics, I think, is a win for NHLers.
Yeah, no, it was nice to see the NHLers there. I think I have a different opinion on silver. In the time, it sucks. Yesterday, watching the game, I didn't even want to put the medal on. I was venting to Liza, my girlfriend, who deserves an award. Deserves every trophy in the book. As you guys both know, she deserves every trophy in the book because here I am saying I would not put that medal on it. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for saying this, but there's no way I'd put a silver medal on in after the fact. It's a horrible feeling.
I'll ask you, is that just in general, or because you lost to the U.S.
down the road,
or because of the 3-on-3 OT? Like,
no, 3-on-3 overtime. Or? We saw that coming. Actually, 3-on-3 overtime. I actually mentioned to you guys right after it's 3-on-3, right? Like, I actually figured it was 3-on-3, so I saw that coming. But no, it's just upsetting. You lose. Yeah, you lose to the Americans, and you see all the off-ice antics that shouldn't be in the game that are in the game because of it. And it just sucks. It just sucks having to sit there and watch the other team celebrate. You don't get a medal for losing in the Stanley Cup final. And maybe I'm just salty and I'm getting grumpy in my old age, but I just think that like down the road I would wear it. 2 years from now, probably a month from now, I would wear it. But right now, that was tough. That was devastating.
Be better than that Swedish player tossing his medal into the crowd at the World Juniors.
Yeah, I wouldn't throw it away. I would just not wear it. But yeah, honestly, same with when I've won stuff. I never wear my rings. Never. You win. You lose. It sucks for sure. But the better team, in my opinion, lost the game, and maybe that's why I was so salty. But the better team lost the game, in my opinion. Canada was dominating them. They missed a wide open net, Nathan McKinnon, and it's funny.
Two breakaways.
Yeah, 2 breakaways. And it's funny, the goal line save. Like, it's funny how all these people are on social media giving crap to Nathan McKinnon for missing a net. Like, 9 out of the 10 people tweeting at him would miss that. Like, the angle from, for Nathan McKinnon.
That's generous. 9 out of 10? 10 out of 10 miss it.
Yeah, like, Nathan McKinnon, he should have scored. It happens. But, in the heat of the moment, the adrenaline is through the roof. Yeah. If you would have missed that shot in the first period, it would have been no different than missing it in the third. Like, it sucks the timing you did. More stress in the game, but it's unfortunate. I'd wear the medal next week, but not today. That's all. It was a tough one. That was tough. It's unfortunate, but congratulations to the 13 medalists of the OHL. Olli Maatta is one of those guys for me who's been who should be my favorite player. Growing up a London Knight fan, playing for the Knights, then going to the Wings. Olli Maatta should be my favorite player. So shout out to Team Finland. And that's another thing, too. The people complaining about the calls late. Guys, you know what? No one's talking on Finland about it. Finland talked about it, overtime and stuff, too. It's part of the game. You know the rules going into the tournament. It's like back in the World Juniors when Canada lost in a shootout to the U.S. It happens. You move on. The sun comes out the next day, and that's when you put the silver medal on.
Yeah, exactly. The Barrie Colts making some headlines as well. A couple of big names in their organization making headlines and setting records. So first of all, we're going to get to the man behind the bench in his first season as Barrie Colts head coach. I mean, look at the list of talent that he joins. Dylan Smoskowitz, with his 40th win of the year this past weekend, joins a list that includes Luka Caputi, Jussi Ahokas, Darian Hatcher, DJ Smith, Greg Walters, John Dean as wins in the first year of your head coaching gig since 2000.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that is impressive. It's hard to do. And again, who knew what the Barrie Colts were going to be this year? You weren't sure if it was going to be a full sell-off after going for it last year. Getting Hemming back obviously helps, and I'm sure, like Gene talked about on our trade deadline show, that him coming back probably helped the Barrie Colts go in for it and buy instead of selling off all their assets. But the Colts are, as we're talking right now, winners of 10 in a row. They have been rolling. They're just 1 point away from being tied for the number one spot in the Ontario Hockey League, a feat that we didn't think anybody would get to outside of the Bulldogs or the 67s. So from where the Colts started to where they are now, it's impressive. And they were one North Bay regulation loss away from clinching the division on Sunday too, which is crazy to think. 11 games out, they're clinching the division, but that's how much they've separated themselves from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, I knew they'd win the division, but I didn't think they'd do it this soon. I think that the job that Dylan Smoskowitz has done coming in has been incredible, especially after last year and the way the playoffs turned out. Like, everything he's come into with the system, the players buying in, he has guys in front of him. And honestly, it starts at camp. You name two captains, Baudouin and Aitchison. We'll get to the Aitchison record in a second, but you look at the job he has done. You look at the resume that he has in just one season. It's incredible. I mean, this guy's on the verge of, who knows, getting a chance to represent Hockey Canada at an international level with the way you have this much success. And you look at the last coaches on here, like on the list, he's a guy that, I mean, he's young. It's got to be appealing to Hockey Canada down the road if he can continue to do this with World Juniors and so on and so forth. Like, he's been great, and the Barrie Colts are an aggressive team. They're great on the forecheck, and I think that no secret, his system's working.
Yeah, it's been really fun. You're right. I think once we got to 25, 30 games into the season and seeing what the Central Division was going to be, and you're like, oh, who the heck's actually going to win this thing? And then you get over the next 10 to 15 after that, and Barrie starting to pull away and get out in front. You're like, okay, well, it's going to be the Barrie Colts, and it's just been carrying on, and that lead is really big right now. They'll probably clinch the division coming up this week. So big part of that, Kayshawn Aitchison setting the new franchise record for career points by a defenseman. He did it with his first period goal on Saturday against the Brantford Bulldogs in a 7-4 win for the Barrie Colts. He had 4 points in that game, by the way. So 2 goals and 2 assists. Passing Brant Clark on the club's all-time list. Obviously, Brant Clark, a former captain, too. I think it's better to do it with a goal, just my personal opinion. Maybe you can 100%. Add a little bit more of a celly in there. I mean, Aitchison sellies quite a bit and quite hard, but I think to get it with a goal, I think makes it pretty cool. And congratulations to him, because there's a lot of really stud defensemen in the history of the Barrie Colts.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this guy's on the verge of having a 30-goal season as the defenseman, right? Like, the sky's the limit for Kayshawn Aitchison. You look at the goal, that was kind of the turning point in the game on Saturday. 4-point game plus 5 affair. Like, he gets that goal, he makes it 2-1, then he gets a tying goal as well to make it 2-2. Kayshawn Aitchison he is the identity, and you always form the identity of your captain. And Kayshawn Aitchison is the identity of the Barrie Colts. They play hard, they play with jam, they're aggressive, they're physical. Like, everything that Kayshawn Aitchison has in his game, in his toolbox, is what everyone on that team goes by. You look at him on the back end and Cole Baudouin on the front. That's the Barrie Colts identity. And no surprise to see Kayshawn Aitchison breaking records like that. It was cool, his intermission interview, that first rookie season, being with Brant Clark, learning from Brant Clark. That was pretty cool to hear his interview on that. Like, that was kind of a goal coming into the season to be able to break a record like that. Yeah. And I mean, Brant Clark's a stud defenseman. They're very similar the way they play. They both play with a lot of pop to their game, and obviously, like, Brant Clark was a pest in the league. The way he played on top of his offensive capabilities, no doubt everyone knows about what he brings to the table. But Kayshawn Aitchison, you look at the penalty minutes, you look at the points Look at the plus minus. Everything he does in the back end is so similar to what Brant Clark did. They just play with that pop, and he definitely has that X factor ability for the next level, and his game's going to transition to the pro game just because of how physical he is. I mean, 6'2", 203 at that time, or at this time as well as we speak. He's just going to get bigger as well. He's only 19 years old. So can't wait to see what Kayshawn Aitchison does in his career, because what a player.
Yeah, and you look at the games played the last 2 years, 64 and 64, just missing 4 games in each of those 2 seasons, and then 46. He was a world junior participant. Obviously, that's going to be a little bit lower, so whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, he's healthy and he's in the lineup, and that's one of the best traits a player can have for a head coach, is to be healthy and to be able to be in the lineup. So yeah, congratulations to him. Congratulations to his bench boss as well for setting a couple of records and joining elite company in their organizations and around the league. But before we get to Joey Costanzo here, the Red Tilson Award. We're just over 10 games left in the regular season. Some teams have 10, some have 11, some have 12. But who is going to win this, Colin? And you know, the names we've got up on the YouTube stream are from the OHL. They provided this graphic and this list. Obviously, there's another category, but Nathan Aspinall from Flint, Cole Beaudoin with Barrie, Ryder Fedorov from Ottawa. You got Nikita Klepov, a rookie, leading the league in points.
That's incredible.
Which is unbelievable. Marco Mignosa from the Sioux Greyhounds, Marek Van Acker, who leads the league in goals. He did get up to 40 this past weekend, so that is updated on the OHL stat site. And then Kieran Walton, who's come to Peterborough and just done Kieran Walton things and made Peterborough a really good hockey team, and probably the front runner to finish 4th. North Bay's still around, obviously, but I think there's a mission for the Peterborough Petes to get 4th place, and I'm really excited for that 4-5 matchup in round 1. But for you, Colin, at this point in time, who is your Red Tilson Award winner?
My Red Tilson Award winner is the rookie, Klepov. I think Nikita Klepov's game is incredible. I mean, 81 points in 57 games for a 7th-ranked team in the conference. Where have we saw that before? Maybe Connor McDavid? Like, that's elite category for Klepov to be in this mix. I mean, 81 points in 57 games. Like, I've never saw this before. And I mean, the things he's doing at this high a level on a team that isn't the Flint Firebirds, that isn't the Kitchener Rangers, that isn't the Brantford Bulldogs, that isn't the Barrie Colts. Like, to be able to do this on a team that is in 7th place in the Western Conference is unheard of. And I think it's a no-brainer. Nikita Klepov, 81 points in 57 games as a rookie. I've never saw this before, and I think that's absolutely deserving of the MVP.
Yeah, it's funny for all of us, and BC is included with this because he's got the same pick I do. It sounds like the Red Tilson Award is going to go to Michigan. Somebody in Michigan is going to get it, whereas Nikita Klepov. Myself and Brandon are on the Nathan Aspinall train right now. You know, he was a 5th-round pick by the New York Rangers. You see the stat line there this season, 79 points in 55 games. He's just 2 back of Klepov, so it's going to go down to the wire, which I'm excited for. And you saw Klepov with the same. He's at this point, obviously the season's still not over, and he's going to get way more. But he's already 50 points ahead of what he had last year. You look at Aspinall, he had 47 points last year in 62 games. He's up to 79 already in 55. He's going to be a 30-goal scorer. He's going to challenge for 100 points. It'd be about, just under 2 points a game. He would have to be at to get to 100. Klepov around the same, maybe just under 2 points a game. But yeah, it's going to be really hard. I think with Aspinall, when you look at the Flint Firebirds, and if they find a way to win this division, and I know Joey Costanzo is going to have something to say about this. You know, everyone was on the Windsor train, myself included. Everyone was on the Windsor Spitfires and not really supporters of the Flint Firebirds winning this division because everyone thought Windsor had it locked up. And then all of a sudden, out of a cannon comes Nathan Aspinall and the Flint Firebirds. And obviously they're getting stud goaltending from Vicari, but you know, they're not where they are without Aspinall, who's been equally as stellar as his goaltender. So that's my pick. I know that's BC's pick as well, but that's fun to think about. You know, Flint and Saginaw are at opposite ends of the conference, but still tied together because Red Tilson is probably going to be between Nathan Aspinall and Nikita Klepov when it's all said and done.
How about, too, off the record, I don't think this is a Red Tilson Award winner, but how about the impact Sam O'Reilly's making for the Kitchener Rangers? Like, since the deadline, you look at their record, and we're talking about most valuable to their team, 100% Nathan Aspinall's in that mix for the Flint Firebirds. You take him out of the lineup, what are the Flint Firebirds? So we don't know, but they're definitely not as good without Nathan Aspinall with 100%. But Sam O'Reilly, the Kitchener Rangers, what he means to the Rangers is incredible. He's changed their team. Like, I've saw them now twice in person since the deadline, and I mean, he has changed their team. The way they play, the identity. They're a fun team to watch, and I think that the Kitchener Rangers as well with Sam O'Reilly. I know he's not going to win the award, but wow, he's changed their team, and Kitchener's a force. Like, that Western Conference battle is going to be fun. It's going to be interesting to see what Joey thinks about it because they played both those teams this weekend.
Yeah, which that's a perfect way to hit the break because we've got Windsor Spitfires goaltender Joey Costanzo joining us on the other side here on the OHL in 60 podcast. Make sure you stick around for that. Should be a fun chat with the Spitfires goalie.
Fourth Wall is the official merchandise supplier of the Armchair GM Sports Network. Our user-friendly site is print to order with no minimum items or inventory needed, shipped right to your doorstep safely and efficiently from their North American warehouse. All of our logos are available to supporters, listeners, and viewers can have the best variety available to them for their swag preferences. All items are priced as low as possible, allowing everybody who wants to support our business with the opportunity to do so, receiving quality and comfortable products in return. Shop today at fourthwall.com with a direct link to our Armchair merch store in the description of all episodes and in the bio of all of our social media accounts. Become an Armchair GM today with Fourth Wall.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Welcome back to the OHL in 60 podcast with Colin Ward. I'm Reece Doumani. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wherever you're tuned in from, whether you're watching us on YouTube on the Armchair GM Sports Network, whether you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, we appreciate it as always. And the best part of the show, probably the best segment of the year so far, and we're just getting it started right now. We're speaking with Windsor Spitfires goaltender Joey Costanzo, who has been very fortunate enough to provide us with some time. Joey, thank you for hopping on. We're big fans of yours, so we really appreciate you taking the time today.
Thank you so much, guys. You know, I've been listening for a little bit. It's definitely harder to listen when we have a hard weekend. Sometimes I'll have to tune it out, but you know, I'm so excited to be here, and thanks again for having me on.
It's been one hell of a year for you. It felt like we had to get it done just out of respect to you and the goaltending profession. I mean, you look at some of the names in Windsor Spitfires history who have played goal, and you've got the most wins in franchise history. You are a 100-game winner in the Ontario Hockey League. Just first of all, congratulations is in order from all of us, and congrats on the accomplishments. Just when you hear those sentences, and you're the all-time wins leader in Windsor Spitfires history, you've got 100 wins in the OHL. Just what's the feeling like when that happened, but also now every time you look back and think about it?
Yeah, it's pretty surreal. I'm pretty proud of it, and obviously, you didn't mention any names there, but guys like Mikey DiPietro, Jack Campbell, et cetera, et cetera. There have been a lot of great goalies who've come through Windsor, and even just to be mentioned with those guys, let alone top them in wins and games played and stuff like that, it's really an honor. And to play in such a great city like Windsor my last 4 years, it's really become my second home, and I couldn't be more proud.
Joey, being in Windsor.
Do you remember number one?
Say that again.
Do you remember number one? How much do you remember number one?
Oh boy, it's crazy, guys, how fast it flies by. It really doesn't feel like 5 years. I remember my first start. I remember my first win and my first start. My first start was in Oshawa.
Yep.
And I remember I was looking at it the other day. It's something crazy. It was like October 20th, 2021. And I was talking with the 16-year-old on our team, John McLaughlin, who's having a great year as well. And I was like, dude, in 2021, this guy was in Pee Wee. That's crazy. He's like one of my best friends on the team. All-time great guy. But yeah, like I remember my first shot in the O. My first shot in the O, it was, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Tulio, and he missed the net, and it kicked off the back wall, off my skate, and landed on the goal line. And my heart skipped a beat. So I'll always remember my first save. And then, of course, my first win was I remember the day. It was December 16th, 2021. And that would have actually been my grandfather's 100th birthday, who I was really close to, who died the year prior. So that win was really special to me. And I got my 100th on that same road trip the next day in Sudbury, almost 4 years to the day. So that was really cool for me. And win one was really cool. It was the teddy bear toss game actually for North Bay. And I didn't know it was the teddy bear toss game until they started throwing teddy bears. So it was kind of weird. I'm like, wow, this has happened a lot. I don't know, but it was cool. It was like I couldn't, this whole experience. I mean, I wish I could do it all over again if I could, but there's not many things I would change. It's been a blast.
Well, and I mean, I brag about this to everybody, to Brandon and to Colin all the time. I actually had the call of your first OHL start on the radio side for the Ice Dogs. I was filling in for Ted. So yeah, I still remember. I remember a couple of shots in and out of the glove. Trying to get used to that puck and just to see where you were then and now. I mean, we've got your draft, signing photo, I should say, up on our YouTube stream of a young, beardless Joey Costanzo with the football helmet on the back. Is that yours? Is that just a family piece that you got? What's the story behind that?
Yeah, so that's my high school football helmet. I played varsity football in grade 9, and COVID shut down my grade 10 year, probably for the better, because I would get into battles with my Marlies coach. He didn't really want to let me play, but football. My dad coached football at St. Andrews in King City, or Aurora, I should say, for a long time, and football was my second sport growing up. So that helmet was mine up until pretty much the age I am in that photo.
Wow.
How much?
What position?
How much did football help you?
Oh well, my dad always jokes that pressure's kind of been normalized to me, because when I was growing up, I was a goalie in hockey, I was a pitcher in baseball, and I was a quarterback in football. So I loved it, and football, it helps me now really just dissecting the play, because really as a goalie, you're a game manager. There's so much going on, the way, like, for example, just the way I have to call out traffic, let the D know what they're doing. And we have a great veteran D corps in Windsor. They make it so easy for me. But just like the parallels, calling out the protection in football as a QB, reading the defense, stuff like that. So I would say that helped me. And just the overall team element, there's probably nothing better than hockey and football for those two things. So, that's Villanova High School in King City. Shout out them.
We go back to your first rookie season, Joey. And by the way, congrats on all the success so far in your OHL career. It's been a treat to watch you. But those goalie pads year one in Niagara with the all black and the flames at 16 years old, that was pretty sweet. But where did that come from?
That kid had a lot of swagger, man. I'll tell you. But going back, if I now were to have a 16-year-old goalie partner do that, man, I couldn't believe I had that much swagger to do that. But I remember when I got him, it was about Christmas time, because COVID orders were really slow and stuff like that. I got it around Christmas, and goalie coach Jason Barron, who's now in the Nashville organization with the Preds, came over to me. He was like, "You went loud, eh?" And that's kind of when it set in. I'm like, wait a minute, was I not supposed to do this? Like, am I not going to be allowed to wear these or something? But dude, I love those pads. I wish I got to keep them. They were sweet, man. And I used them for the whole year. Most guys go through a second set, but for that year, I used them. I love them. I have some pretty sweet photos with them. So I probably my favorite set that I've had in the O.
100%. If you get new pads for the postseason, are you thinking about a Windsor look with those? Because the fans are
You know what? I'll tell you what. It wouldn't be the first time I've thought about it. I'm not saying I'm going back to them, but I'm saying I've definitely thought about it. So, it'd be cool for a little throwback for me.
Because as a Wings fan, I remember when Jimmy Howard did that with the Vaughns, and I thought that was so sweet with the flames on the bottom. Like, those are so cool. Also, Michael Newlove, your goaltending partner, what's up with the whole red situation? You guys give it to him or what?
We call him the Red Blob. And he, you know what? He loves. I'm like, it's his name, man. He loves it. He's a great kid, and like I was saying earlier, he's got so much swagger. He loves the game so much. He's got that bite to the game. He's got the eye of the tiger, and a great guy in the room, becoming one of my best friends. Quickly this year, and I think he's going to take over the reins in Windsor next year when I'm gone, and I think he's going to be a great goalie in this league.
Right on. So you'll be sending him a few messages throughout the year next season, making sure he's on.
100%. I'm expecting a big year out of him. I think he's got a lot of talent. Like I said, I think he's got a lot of swagger, and I think Windsor's going to be an underrated squad next year as well.
I saw a article with you, Joey, and it had on there about you started off figure skating, can skate for those also in Ontario, but how important was that for your game? Because I was a goalie too, and my parents actually did the same thing with me and can skate an extra year to skate, because I feel like the most wrong conception about being a goaltender is, we put the kid that can't skate in net at a young age. Yes, partially that's true, but how important is to be able to skate and feel the net? I mean, the C pushes, like, it's so important. The butterfly, you get on your edges. How important was that for you?
Yeah, well, there's actually a couple stories that go with it. I guess the first one being, so I started in quote-unquote figure skating, learned to skate up in King City, Ontario, where I grew up, and then later at Etobicoke. But yeah, like, my parents never really expected me to play hockey. They kind of just threw me in because they're like, okay, every Canadian needs to learn how to skate. My dad coached a bit of high school hockey. My mom was a ball hockey player in high school. So they threw me in just to learn how to skate, and I was maybe 2 years old. Like, I was the tiniest kid on the ice. And then gradually I just move up the ranks. Like, by the end of it, I was probably with the 4 and 5 year olds, whatever it was. And then on the last day of the 8-week program or whatever it was in the winter, they brought out wiffle balls and mini sticks for us to play like hockey with. And I played for the whole hour with all the older kids. And quite literally, they had to pick me up and carry me off the ice. And I was crying and crying. Like, the Zamboni was on the ice and they couldn't get me off. Like, they literally had to pull me off the ice. And my parents were like, okay, he's a hockey player. And then later in my career, I guess where I became a good skater, because I would say it's probably one of my better attributes I have now, is my skating ability. Where I learned that was probably I was 13 years old. And I learned that with Dave Franco in Toronto. And I was actually training with another goalie coach in Mason Vicari at the time, Flint Firebirds goalie. So that's, me and Mason would always battle. Growing up, we were the two best goalies in the GTHL. And, if I were to say another great skater in the OHL, it'd be Mace. I think he's a great skater. I think there are a lot of parallels in our game. I think he's a strong, athletic goalie, and he's having a great year as well. So, we've been battling against each other our whole career, but, we're also great friends, and we've trained together since we were 13 years old. So, I think watching him and competing against him, but also being buddies, really made me a great skater.
100%. How cool is that now this year, your final years in junior, to be going head-to-head like this with the Firebird season and the Spitfire season, the possible playoff matchup down the road? How cool is that to have those battles this year in your last year junior? Yeah,
definitely. I think, we've played them 4 or 5 times this year. We've pretty much split even. They got the best of us last night, but, I like to think we like our chances against them. Obviously, they're very similar to us. I think they have strong goaltending. They have a large forward group, a lot of big playmaking forwards. And I think their D are, a little underrated. So having them in the division, and then, you can't forget about Sioux as well. I think we have the deepest division in the league this year, and I think it's really going to prepare us for playoffs.
Yeah. I still think back to the 2022 playoffs, and obviously in Hamilton at the time when the Bulldogs beat the Spitfires in 7 games. But you look back at the Western Conference Finals, that was Windsor and Flint, Game 7, down to the wire. Like, if you could give me that this year, I would be all in for that. How much do you and Mason communicate throughout the season? Like, is it often? Is it maybe checking in once in a while? Like, I'm curious how often you guys check in with each other.
Oh boy. Well, whenever we play each other, and really, to be honest, this league's a community. Everybody knows everybody. Obviously, we're competitors on the ice, but at the end of the day, this really is a community. Everybody looks out for one another, and that's something I'm really proud about. But honestly, between me and Mace and my other buddies in the league, really checking in after games whenever we play each other. Me and Mace will hang out a few times in the summer, and then whenever we're playing each other, we'll shoot each other a good luck text before the week starts. And then game day, I won't even think about texting him. I don't know the guy until the game's over.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah, I get that. It's odd. Like, you talk about how quick your career has gone. What's the biggest thing you're going to take away? I mean, obviously you've got a run to the playoffs to still go through. You've got rounds to go through. I'm sure round 4 and a championship and a trip out west is on the schedule for you guys. But what's one thing that you're really going to remember about this league when it's all said and done?
Yeah, honestly, it's really the people.
Yeah.
I've had so many good teammates. I've had a ton of coaches that have really touched me and helped my game. I've had the same builds for 4 years here in Windsor, and I love them to death. They're really like a second set of parents. Even my billets in Niagara, I still keep in touch with. I golf with my billet brother in the summer in Niagara. It's really the people and the relationships I've built. Like you said, it's flown by so quickly. And if I could do it all over again, I would. But, I wouldn't trade what I've had here for the past 4 years for anything. And, I'm so excited and I'm so grateful that I've stayed healthy in these few years, and I've played so many games with so many great people, and hopefully, we could go on a big run here and, tie a bow on my career in the L.
Absolutely. And Joey, I saw you play on Friday night in Kitchener. Apologies for the result, but there's an interesting interview with your captain, Liam Greentree, at the intermission about this has to be the year to get over the hump with the Kitchener Rangers. I know you guys have had some battles in the past. The rivalry's there for sure. You guys bring in some guys. They bring in some guys. The playoff series in the past. How much do you guys want to beat the Rangers this year, quite frankly?
Oh, boy. The idea right now is that they have our number, and, we've lost a few straight to them, but, we know more than anybody. It really doesn't matter that much until you're playing at the end of April against them in the conference finals or conference semis, whenever that is. We're really excited to play them. Obviously, I think they have some great players, but we're not going to shy away from that competition. I think we're a good team as well. And, you really don't know how that series is going to go until, the puck's in the net in Game 7 overtime like it was last year. So I'm really excited to play them down the road. I think they have some great players. I think we match up against them pretty well. And, I'm excited to play them because that's probably, the past 4 years, that's been our biggest rival.
100%. And how fun would that be in those two arenas? I mean, you've been through it before, Game 7. Last year, obviously, with the sickness going around, the injuries going around in the room. How cool is that to play in those two arenas? The in Kitchener and obviously the WFCU in Windsor. Those arenas are top tier in the Ontario Hockey League. How cool is that in the playoffs to be in those two arenas every given night, going 7 games like that?
Oh, it was awesome. I remember like even in Game 7, we scored late in the second to tie it up, and it was goosebumps. Sold out crowd at the WFCU. It really doesn't get anything better. It's so awesome when the city rallied behind us there, and throughout the whole year, I think we have some of the best fans in the OHL. And then obviously Kitchener, around the league, the Odd's pretty awesome. I don't think it gets much better than the Odd. One of my favorite rinks to play in. So that series, both barns are going to be buzzing, and I'm excited for whoever we match up against. If it's the Rangers, awesome.
What's the most I know this is an interesting question, but what is the most challenging arena? Not because of crowd noise, not because of intimidation. Could be being a Wings fan growing up, the Joe Louis bounce off the end boards. What's the most challenging arena to play in the Ontario Hockey League for you, other than the WFCU Center because it's your home rink?
Oh boy. Well, I don't want to give too much away because honestly, the way I kind of think of it, look, the net's the same size. I'm wearing the same skates. The puck's the same size. That really doesn't matter. That being said, what's up with Peterborough, guys?
The square corners.
I played in the East for a year, even more so that year because there was no crossover between the divisions. But we've had some funky bounces across the years in Peterborough. I remember my first year, and I didn't really think much of it. And I remember, I forget, maybe it was Avon rims the puck in, and it hits off the dasher in the corner where it's pretty much a 90-degree angle. And I come out to play the puck, and it hits me in the chest and lands in the middle of the crease. And I think it was Pink the Rink night that night. So it was packed in Peterborough. And, those fans can get pretty rowdy. So it got loud, and it was just like a huge gasp of the crowd. And I remember it was another one of those moments where my heart stops. I'm 16-year-old Joey with his sticks trying to take a baseball swing at it, hit it out of the crease. Thankfully I did, but it's a different course there in Peterborough.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, that's why I wondered. It usually gets to that with the square corners. As a goaltender, I could not imagine when the puck gets ringed around the boards, ends up in the slot. We talked to Hunter Jones a few years back in his last year with Peterborough, and he talked about playing lacrosse with bounces because if it wasn't for lacrosse, he said the adjustment for him as well would have been tough. It's crazy the bounces there. I mean, the square corner, it's got to get changed to the Goalies Association. In the OHL, every goalie would be pumped at for sure. You're not the only one, but the confidence I wanted to ask you, Joey, the confidence you have, how cool is it? And I was a goalie, and it's the best. It's like a pitcher. You said it, football as well, quarterback. There's no to have than confidence. And when you're in a zone, when you're locked in, your pucks look like a beach ball to you. How good is that feeling? And explain to the fan who's never played net before. That's better than scoring a goal. When the puck looks like a beach ball to you and everything's just slow motion and easy for you. How good is that feeling?
Oh, it's unreal. And honestly, like you said, it's like a pitcher in baseball and even more so in hockey, because by the time the puck leaves the player's stick, there's nothing you can do about it. At the end of the day, the hockey goalie is maybe the only position in sports where if you shut the door, there is a 0% chance you can lose. If you have the best night possible, you will win. And I think that's what kind of drew me to it is look, I want the pressure to be on me. I want to help my team out. And, I want to win hockey games. So having that confidence in yourself and, being this my fifth time around, I just kind of say, look, man, I'm going to do everything I can to put my body in front of that puck.
100%.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You're kind of in the spotlight. You get the 60 minutes. You're in that net, right? Is that part of it as well? Just what's the right way to put this? Your centers, your wingers, your defensemen, they go off, they get changes. You're out there for a full 60, right? You're controlling, you're managing the game, like you said earlier on. Is that a big part of it? Being in control for all of it, and trying to stay mentally focused. How big is the mental side of the game for you?
Oh, of course. Just speaking to the mental side of things, I think I've really taken a leap in that side of my game the last couple of years. I've worked with Pete Fry, goalie mindset coach, and along with a few goalies in the league. I know Rye and George have worked with him as well. Those are good guys. But just speaking about the confidence of the game, I really feel it, especially this year, being my fourth time around in Windsor. When I'm in that crease, I could really feel the whole city behind me. It's the same 20 people behind my net in the first two rows. And, I feel like I know them personally, the way they cheer for me. It's so awesome. And, there's no rather place I'd be than in that crease in Windsor.
Yeah. I've got a few Windsor specific questions for you. I went to elementary school in Windsor. I still remember going to the old barn downtown, a few blocks away from the river, watching the Taylor Hall, Adam Henrique teams of the past, Ryan Ellis being a part of that. Grubauer was the goalie at that point when they were winning the back-to-back Memorial Cups. we're just under a week past the anniversary of the passing of Mickey Reno, the captain in Windsor. The display at the WFCU Center is something that I always like to visit every single time that I get there. How much is he still an influence in that room, in that building, in that city for the Spitfires organization?
Mickey's everywhere, man, and he isn't the captain of the Windsor Spitfires. He is the captain of the Windsor Spitfires.
Yeah,
and the name Mickey Renaud is synonymous with the Windsor Spitfires, and in general, just the city of Windsor. As you said, we have the mini memorial in the arena. We have a mini memorial at the school where our school guys go, because he attended there, St. Anne's in Lakeshore, Ontario. We had the number behind the net up until a couple years ago. We have a game February 18th every year. That's Mickey's game.
Yep.
Now I think it's our Billet Appreciation Night as well. And, Mickey is still very much alive in Windsor. And, that's pretty much all I can say about Mickey. He's in spirit, he's still the captain of the team.
Yeah, I still remember that last game. It was Valentine's Day his last home game, I should say. They had like a 2-game road trip after that, but that last game, I'm pretty sure got in a fight at the barn as well. It was the Saginaw Spirit that were there. So, it's kind of hard to talk about it because he was so important to the community. But follow that up. He was the era of the tombstone and those jerseys, and a little bit different than the ones you guys wear now. You guys have more, I believe it was the Ed Jovanovski era year of the tombstone jerseys. I mean, those are solid in person. My brother lives in Windsor. He was at the game this weekend. He saw them in person, and they're fire. So how do you guys feel about them?
Oh, I love them. And in my opinion, we've had the two best, and obviously I'm biased. I think we've had the two best alternate jerseys my time there, between the Dub logo and the Tombstone logo. Two iconic jerseys. You think of the Dub logo and all the guys who played with that, the super throwbacks, like the guys like Glenn Hall, and then you have the Tombstone logo. You go to, like you said, you got guys like, our GM and lead point scorer of our team's history is Bill Bowler. We've had some Steve Ott, like guys like that. There's so many legends who've worn that jersey, and just to wear them now and kind of the reverse retro look, if you will, is really sweet. And to finish out my career getting some sick pictures with these on, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you guys have extra
big Insta game with those.
They give us a jersey at the end of the season for our away night. And I'm really trying hard to make sure it's the Tombstone. It'll look pretty cool in my basement once I get that. So I'm excited.
Gotta be that one.
Yeah, 100% with Joey Costanzo, the Windsor Spitfires. Joey, talking Windsor pizza. What's the best Windsor pizza spot in Windsor, and what's your thoughts on Windsor pizza?
Oh boy, we get mixed reviews from guys on the team. I don't know. It brings a tear to my eye leaving Windsor because I really don't want to leave behind Antonino's Pizza. Man, that like whenever I'm having a bad day or a bad game, I'm buzzing straight over there and I'm grabbing a piece of shredded pepperoni. Oh yeah, I love it. Thin crust, shredded pepperoni. You don't like my old billet dad was telling me, I'm like, it's the same thing. It's just shredded. I'm like, no, it's not. It's so much better. Way better. I love it. Antonino's is my favorite in the city. I would say Capri Pizza is a close second. In my opinion. I know, I really hope I don't get some hate from people in Windsor for that take. I think it's a pretty popular take, but I love it.
Yeah. That'll be the real this week.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100% to promote the show. Yeah. That'll be the real. And Charlie Paquette, with our work with the Bulldogs, he's an Essex guy. He said Antonino's too. He was a big fan of that. He said that he had to take the Bulldogs there when they were there a few weeks ago. I'm a big Armando's guy. I love Armando's pizza. That's unreal. Capri also. Yeah, you can't go wrong. Like it's all good. It's way better than everywhere.
There isn't a bad spot in the city. I would say Armando's. I've had the best meat lover slice from Armando's, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I really like their meat lover slice.
Yeah. Oh, man, I could talk about Windsor pizza all day. Steve Bell, radio voice of the Windsor Spitfires. He's an icon. He's been on AM 800 for God knows how long it's been. I don't want to date him at all, but favorite Beller story from your time in Windsor.
You know, there's 100 I could tell you. We could be here all day. Beller's one of the guys, man. If he could play and be on the ice with us, he would. And you know, we all love Beller. My favorite Beller story, I got to go back to last season. It was the last game of the year, so we had a few guys out, and I was in the crowd, and we were in the nosebleeds in London because it was the only place we could sit, and we were maybe 2 or 3 rows in front of the press box, and we were sitting directly behind Beller, maybe 6 feet above Beller, and we were watching him call the game. And it's crazy how calm he sounds on radio when he's so animated in person. Yeah. You know, he has his hands up in the air, he's waving and pointing at guys on the ice. You know, it was hilarious to watch because I've listened to him on the radio before, just on reruns and stuff like that, and he sounds so calm, but in the moment he's so animated. And I just remember that game, and he's a huge homer as well. Like, you know, he doesn't really show it on the radio, but you know, in person, you know, he lives and breathes the Windsor Spitfires. So I just remember him turning around. He's like, "Joey, what kind of call was that?" And he unmutes his mic and he goes back to calling the game. Like, it's hilarious. I love that guy. And you know, being in I wish I had an earpiece of Steve Bell calling the game in the moment. Like it's awesome. He's, like I said earlier, he's another one of those guys. It's just synonymous with the city. And you know, when you think Windsor Spitfires, you think 1, Mickey Renaud, 2, Steve Bell. It's sweet to have, you know, that legend on the bus with us when we're going on the road, you know, in our building calling our games. You know, Beller's awesome.
100%. Manny Pay's a beauty too, color guy. You guys got a couple good ones there in Windsor for sure. One other cool tradition that you guys have in Windsor, and it's always cool. I remember 22 in the finals. It was one of the coolest moments I've had so far in the OHL, like that I got to witness. And don't stop believing for the third period. Homage to Across the River with the Wings. That's pretty cool. What's that like going out to the ice and it's all black, the phone lights are on? What's that like? That's cooler than an intro to me at pregame.
Like I said earlier, when we have sellouts, it really just it's goosebumps. And you know, you see 6,000 flashlights. You know, I've never witnessed it as an away team, and I'm kind of glad. You know, it's pretty sweet. I love it, and you know, I'll tell you, it really gets us going for the third period. I think that's one of the reasons why we're one of the better third period teams in the league. Is honestly not only that, just the way the fans rally behind us this year has been really special.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. In practice, I had some moments with guys where if it's shootout, if it's 3-puck, whatever it is there anybody on the Spitfires right now where in practice you guys are going at it, you got a little competition going? Is it 3-puck, shootout? What's the go-to competition?
Yeah, well, it's been 5-puck, 5 breakaways with me and Green Tree for the past 4 years.
Right on.
And, you know, I'd like to think I win majority of them. If you ask him, he's probably going to say he wins majority of them. So,
of course,
you know, we've had that for the last few years. Once in a while, Belchez, Cole Davis will hop in as well. So that's been pretty sweet. And I know BC knows that I would do that with Daniil Gushin as well in Niagara. So, you know, I've had battles in practice with some pretty cool hockey players.
Have you guys been giving it to Green Tree a little bit? Well, not giving it to him, but you guys bring up the viral video from Kings Camp of him against the Sharks saying, "If you want one, I'm not scared of you." That was unreal. That's the most "I want the smoke" comment this year out of anyone in hockey. Have you guys saw that, and have you guys been letting them know about it? Like, that's pretty cool.
Oh, of course. It's been everywhere, and it's awesome. I remember, like, I want to say us when they broke the news and he told us, we were on the bus going up for our northern swing, I believe.
Yeah.
And that video came out minutes later, and you know, we're all kind of giving it to him on the bus about that video. You know, it's really funny. It wasn't the first time we've seen that video, and honestly, that's the way he is. And you know, you see it as a captain. He'll run through a wall for any 20 of us on the team. Not only does he lead by example on the ice, in the room as well. I'm so proud to call him my teammate the last 4 years, my captain as well.
Well, absolutely. He's a gamer. I always had a treat watching him play. He's hard on the forecheck, just relentless player. I mean, he's a guy I'm sure if it was the other way, you'd hate to have him crash in your net.
Exactly.
All right. Best part about being a goalie. What's the best part about being a goalie?
Oh, man. Well, like I said earlier, the best part of being the Windsor Spitfires goaltender is honestly, the city and the team rallying behind you. The best part about being a goalie is honestly the community. Like I mentioned earlier, I have the privilege to battle against Mason Vicari the last almost 5 years now. I had some pretty cool goalie duels, in the playoffs against Jackson Parsons. Before that, I've played against a ton of different goalies, in this league who, have gone on to do great things. I don't have a bad word to say about any of the goalie partners I've had my time in Windsor and Niagara, just the goalie community itself. And I go back to Jackson Parsons, like we battled our heads off for, 7 games straight. And then, we're able to hug each other at the end of the day, in the handshake line, say, great job, kid, just that community. And there's 20 goalies in the league, 40 with, partners. I feel like I know every single one, even though, I haven't met majority of them. It's such a cool, the term goalie guild is used a bit, it's so awesome. And it's such a community.
Who was your favorite guy to watch growing up?
Oh boy. Well, I was a Toronto guy, growing up in Toronto. I love James Reimer.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys are Toronto fans, but 2013 happened. And then I wasn't really a Toronto fan for a few years. I loved Carey Price because, who doesn't love Carey Price, growing up in that era as a goalie. So, I would have to say those two guys. I love Fleury as well, just the charisma he had. And obviously, the first couple of hockey memories, I could think of is, the save he made against the Wings. Sorry guys.
Brutal.
But,
no, that's a heck of a save.
Yeah, you heard Fleury, and then I'm sorry if I brought some flashbacks, but
that's all right. That's all right. We won the year before, so we're okay. We're okay. Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned that, Joey, about Fleury. I was about to ask you about, you're an athletic goaltender. You move well around the net. You mentioned it earlier about your skating, and you feel that you are an athletic goaltender, and which you are. You're a great skater. And not to butter you up too much, Joey, I would have did that interview, but your structure in net, is that from Marc-Andre?
Maybe a bit. Honestly, I think where I've gotten the best in my last 2 years, working with Stan Matwiv, our goalie coach in Windsor, and before that, Mike Layton, is really, like you said earlier, my structure. I feel like this is, this season and last has been the first time in my goalie career where my mind is moving just as fast as my body. When I came into this league, I'd like to think I was more of a raw goaltender. I love to make the acrobatic save. My athleticism was my trump card. Now, the way I see the game, I'm almost 200 games into my career now. I feel like I'm seeing the game really well. Like I mentioned earlier, I think I could be a game manager. And, I'm really proud of the skills I've developed here the last few years, being able to read the play more, seeing things I may have not noticed before. And really, for me, that came just with experience in this league.
How did Flyers camp go for you? I mean, how much did you take from Flyers camp?
Oh, it was awesome. Such a professionally run organization. And honestly, I don't think there was a better camp I could have gone to from the standpoint of I knew so many people when I got there. Growing up a bit in King City, I knew Denver Barkey pretty well and the Barkey family. I played against guys like Oliver Bonk in Ontario growing up, and I had the pleasure of going with first-round pick Jack Nesbitt on my own team in Windsor. Yeah. So, a surreal experience. I got into one of the rookie games. I played pretty well. I stopped former Firebird Brennan Othman on a breakaway, and, I skate with him a bit in the summer. I'm going to be giving it to him when I see him. I don't think he'll care too much. I saw he just scored his first one on the show a few weeks ago, but and then to make it a main camp obviously was a huge honor. So, just to be able to get those eyes on me and to be able and to go to such a class organization for a few weeks, I think really gave me that boost and really helped me in the first few weeks of the season.
100%. I got 2 more for you, Joey. And it's that time of the year, the standings, you start to check the standings. Fans are getting more into the barns. It's more engaging. Playoff spots are being clinched. How important is it now, the pressure this time of the year and that you guys are going through? How important is your mental health coaches, and how often do you utilize that situation for yourself being a goaltender? I mean, arguably one of the not arguably, it's the most stressful position in sport.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been paramount at times, between Pete Fry, my goalie performance coach privately, and then as well as Brian O'Reilly, our culture and high performance coach here in Windsor. I have weekly meetings with both of them. And, a lot of my success has been through them as well. So I think that's been great for not only me, but for our team as a group. And honestly, we're a bit of an older team now this year, a lot of veteran guys. I think majority of our team played in the playoffs last year if they weren't injured or sick, like you said earlier. So really, and for guys like me, Greentree, Spelletti, Cristoforo, this is our 4th, 5th time around now. Mm-hmm. So we're really excited. We've been there before, but we want to go further than we ever have. So I'm really excited to see, what we have in store going forward.
I have a follow-up question for you with Jack Nesbitt. How underrated is he? I mean, his game, obviously, he's a high pick in the NHL, but you guys have a deep team. Maybe it's a compliment to the Spitfires and what you guys have built this year, but how good is he? I mean, every time I watch him, he's big. He's hard to play against on the forecheck. Like, he gets in lanes. Like, how good is Jack Nesbitt, and what's the limit for him? Is there one?
Well, like you said, I think the sky's the limit. And for guys like Nezzy, you really got to look past the numbers. He's a point-of-game player, but at the same time, he's a two-way forward. He has a great stick. He's great on draws. He can hit. He can fight. I think he had a Gordie Howe hat trick a couple of weeks ago. Amazing locker room guy. When you need him, he'll put the puck in the net. He's a great net front guy in our power. He really does it all for us. He's our Swiss Army knife. And like I said, complete awesome locker room guy. And he's not afraid to mix it up there. And guys like Liam Greentree, we're fortunate to have some great leaders on our team. Nezzy will run through a wall for any 20 guys on our squad.
Joey, my final question for you. And nowadays in the OHL, you have a lot of options in the CHL, NCAA, Pro. What's next for Joey Costanzo? What's your ultimate goal?
Well, honestly, my long-term goal, for my 16-year-old year, it's never really changed. My goal, my goal is to be an NHL goaltender someday and win a Stanley Cup. That goal was instilled in me by myself when I was 5-6 years old. Manifesting it in my front yard playing road hockey with my buddies. That's really never going to change. Whatever the Lord has in store for me the next few months, whether that's a commitment or a pro deal, I'm excited. But really right now, I'm really just trying to play in the present, take it one shot at a time, one game at a time. And, my goal for the next 6 months is to win a Memorial Cup. And, I think I say that on behalf of every Windsor Spitfire.
Mm. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure the sentiment is shared by your head coach. I gotta ask you about Greg. Whatever has happened in the past with him and Owen Sound, that's the past. He's back in the league. He's coaching. He's having success. What's it like to have Greg behind the bench for you guys?
Yeah, I think he's really he can play good cop. He can play bad cop. He's a technician. He's a player's coach as well. He could really do it all. We're both really competitive guys. Me and him have gotten into it in the past, but at the end of the meeting, he'll say, "Look, Joey, I love you. I know you can do this. Go out there and steal the show." And, like I said earlier, we're such a tight-knit group, and all 20 of us will run through a wall for Wally. He loves us. He loves the game, and he's another one of those guys. If he could step into the skates and be on the ice with us, he would. He lives and breathes the game. I love Wally.
Yeah, just next goal is to match the beard, like we talked about before. You got it going. No, but Joey, this was an absolute honor. To take the time and join us. I mean, again, congratulations on being the franchise leader in wins. Congratulations on win number 100. We really thank you for your time today, and thank you for joining us on the show.
Thanks, guys. This was a blast. And, this goes back to, BC, interviewing me as a 16-year-old. I didn't really know, I'd hop on the pod one day. So this is pretty sweet and a full circle moment for me as well as you guys, I hope. And, thank you so much. And, I can't wait to listen.
It's such an honor. Such an honor. That's Joey Costanzo, goaltender for the Windsor Spitfires, looking to take them back to the Memorial Cup. It'd be the first Memorial Cup since 2017. Hard to believe it's been that long. But Joey Costanzo from the Windsor Spitfires. We're going to step aside when we come back. Draft simulator fun with Colin Ward, and then we'll get to the power rankings here on the OHL in 60 podcast. Make sure to stick around.
Butt ends are hockey stick grips, specifically for the top of the stick, designed to replace traditional cloth tape. They're made of rubber and offer a more consistent and comfortable grip than tape, aiming to improve performance and reduce slippage. Butt ends are an alternative to regular stick tape that provide enhanced grip and comfort, are durable, reusable, and consistent, with the ability to reduce vibration. The grips are available in a variety of styles, designs, colors, and even have options for specific player names. At Butt Ends, they're committed to providing the world's highest quality stick grips and continue to bring new technology and ideas with each new grip design, regardless of sport. Alex Petrangelo, Akil Thomas, Max Domi, Aiden Hill, and Tim Stutzla are a few who have proudly used Butt Ends for peak performance at the NHL level. Check them out at buttonswithaz.com and use our referral code buttons.com/discount/armchairgm to get 10% off your order as part of our community. Engineered for greatness and performance, Butt Ends, the #1 grip in hockey.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Welcome back to the OHL in 60 podcast with Colin Ward. I'm Reece Doumani, along with BC. That was hella fun. Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
Joey Costanzo, certified beauty. Not certified. We kind of always figured he was a beauty because, goalies. But
goalies are the best.
Yeah, to have him on the show, like we always talk about, looking back at some of the players we've had on, and there are names. We've had Connor McMichael on here. We've talked to Phil Tomasino. Hunter Jones
Story
was our first guest, Mike Stubbs. Yeah, absolutely. Reed Duthie has joined us on the show. And we always looked back to interview number 1 with Hunter Jones and thinking that might have been the best conversation we've had, despite all the great guests. They've all been awesome. But Hunter Jones was unreal because we got a really nice inside look at what it was like to be in the room for COVID when it was announced that the season was getting paused and all of that. And Joey Costanzo just matched that, if not exceeded that interview because, and again, maybe it's because it's a goalie thing, both guys being netminders, but that was a ton of fun.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, goalies are the best. And obviously not biased there at all. But not at all. No. Goalies are the best. Goalies are the best. You'll never meet a bad goalie. You'll never meet a bad pitcher. Personality wise, they're all the same. Get pucks off the head. I'll never forget.
I don't know.
I
feel it's more catchers than pitchers. Us catchers are pretty bleeped up.
Well, that's why I was a catcher, because I was a goalie. Wasn't afraid of the ball. I used to love being a catcher because of that. Like, you're not afraid of the ball. It's similar. You stop the ball. The only problem you have, though, is when I'm left-handed catcher, which I thought was really sick. But the only problem I had was my blocker hand was my catching hand in baseball. So at the beginning of the year, I'd start stabbing balls when I was a kid. Because for those on YouTube, just got a 3D hand from myself. But I would start stabbing at balls instead of letting it come to me and cradling it. At the beginning of the year, I would kind of stab at balls because the blocker. Not that you would stab at a puck. But like it was so similar, like I used to think that was kind of cool as at the start of the year, but no, it's awesome. Like catcher can't let the ball behind you. And hockey, you got a score to work with. Baseball, you can't have pass balls. That's a joke that you don't catch that pass ball. So it's no, that's cool. It's nice. You'll never meet a bad goalie. You'll never meet a bad catcher, pitcher. You'll never meet a bad one. They're the beauties.
Yeah, I love that when he's having a bad day, Joey goes to Antonino's. I think that's hilarious.
Unbelievable.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, oh, feeling like crap. Let's go get a slice of pizza.
It is different too.
Yeah.
It's different.
Oh, I'm jealous. I'm so jealous. I really hope it's Brantford and Windsor again in the OHL Championship Series. Then we can have patio beers and
I'll never forget that.
Go to what was that restaurant we went to? It was a wing place. What the heck is it called?
I think it was like Wild Wing.
Wild Wing. Yeah, Wild Wing. Which, by the way, we are not Buffalo Wild Wings supporters for pulling all the restaurants out of Canada. We hate them now.
Yeah.
That was a time.
That was our go-to spot in Hamilton. Yeah, 4 o'clock game.
Right in Ancaster.
100%. It's on the way out of town. You're out of the downtown. Yep. You're up the mountain. It was the best spot after a game in Hamilton. You know what, though? It's the best. I'll never forget that. The amount of times I tell Eliza that story about in Windsor, and you and I, Reece, are sitting on the back patio. It's like 2 in the morning.
Getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, but oh well.
Yeah, that was a blast.
Worth it.
I'll never forget that.
And then having to pull over for a damn funeral, and we're gonna go all. We could go all night about that. That'd be. All right. OHL Players of the Week that were announced on Monday. We start with the Player of the Week from the Guelph Storm. It's Quinn Beauchene in 4 games played, 2 goals and 6 assists for a total of 8 points. He was also a +6 for the Guelph Storm, which that was a huge win in Sault Ste. Marie. Jovanovski pitching a shutout, 1-0. The final score against the Sioux Greyhounds. So congratulations to Quinn Beauchene for being OHL Player of the Week. Goaltender of the week in the Ontario Hockey League from the Kingston Frontenacs, it is Gavin Betts. 3 games played, he was 2-1 with a .201 goals against average, save percentage of .941, making 96 saves over those 3 games, and he's going to make Kingston a very tough out in round 1. Do I think the Frontenacs are going to win that round 1 series? No. However, he's the reason, or Minchak, whoever gets the call in goal, it could be either one. It could easily be a 6-game series. So those guys would extend it.
A month ago, it was all Minchak's net, and then all of a sudden, Betts comes up. He plays a big one in Brantford against a strong team. He goes and wins a couple big games like that, and he keeps you in the fight. I mean, he's earned the right to start a couple playoff games in that series. If I'm the Kingston Frontenacs and I'm Troy Mann, I'm flipping. I'm still rotating goaltenders. I'm giving the ball to one guy right now. I think both these guys have earned it, and Gavin Betts is weak. I mean, speaks for itself. 96 saves in 3 games, and those are tough saves, like he's playing on a team that's not high in the conference by any means, and they're winning. They went 2-1 in the 3 games.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Rookie of the week in the Ontario Hockey League, Joe Salandra from the Barrie Colts. 4 games played for him, 3 goals and 2 assists for a total of 5 points. Was also a +2, helping the Barrie Colts to get within a point of the league-leading Brantford Bulldogs. And again, like I said off the top of the show, hard to imagine that we were talking about another team being in that conversation other than Ottawa or Brantford. So congratulations to him and the Barrie Colts for having a heck of a week. They've won 10 in a row. They've been pretty damn good. So, and then prospect of the week from the Greater Ontario Hockey League. That season is coming to a close very quickly. Just 2 weeks left in the regular season in the GOHL. And Carter Lewandowski from the Air Centennials still have to clinch their spot in the playoffs. I believe they will. But the Guelph Storm prospect playing 3 games, 2 goals and 5 assists for a total of 7 points for the Centennials, who, as we speak, I believe they are in the 8th spot in the Greater Ontario Hockey League's Eastern Conference. 7th spot. They're 4 points behind Brantford, 3 points up on Caledonia. So they can lock up a playoff spot probably this weekend with a couple of victories. Hamilton's in 9th with 32 points. Ayers got 38. So each team has 4 games left. Yes, they could wrap it up this weekend. So, or clinch it this weekend. I shouldn't say wrap it up, but congratulations to him. Yeah, that was big for Brantford to clinch a spot. It means there's going to be playoff hockey in Brantford again.
Oh, the Bulldogs. Even a loss for
Junior
for Hamilton. Yeah, but a loss for Hamilton is a playoff berth for Air, which should be big with 4 games left.
Yep, exactly. So those are our players of the week. Now we're going to run the simulation because we want to have fun to end this show. We're not going to get to power rankings because, well, the simulator's more fun. Again, I mean, the power rankings provides its own level of entertainment. Don't get me wrong, but the simulator is fun. We have a lot of fun with that.
The simulator is the most dramatic moment of the week on the OHL 60 podcast. Nothing gets more dramatic than that. This is Olympic overtime. This is the mecca of nerves. This is the mecca. And this week's draft lottery simulator is incredible. It's another dramatic one. We ran it a couple weeks ago, and the results were Erie 1, Brampton 2, Oshawa 3, Sarnia 4. Those are still the same.
And we still have
teams in the
those
lottery
same four.
mix. Yep. Yeah, and we still have those same four. Sarnia with the fourth best odds, Erie with the third, Brampton with the second best odds, and the Oshawa Generals with the best odds to win the draft lottery. We're going to start at pick 4 this week. We run the simulator. Pick number 4. The Oshawa Generals had the fourth pick. Who do the Detroit Red Wings and drop the fourth spot. I'm sorry, Oshawa. Perhaps maybe we'll hit the showers and regroup up for next week. But tough one. Tough one for the Oshawa.
Yeah, they're gonna
Generals.
have to pack the shampoo for draft week in Kingston. They're gonna have to make sure they've got extras. So
you're gonna have to sweat. They're gonna have to sweat out another 3 picks, if you know what I'm saying.
Maybe that'll be their gift basket in their suite or hotel at the arena. You just have a gift basket of soap at Slush Puppy Place for the draft when they show up.
Remember when I told the commissioner about, and I don't want to say it all, but remember how I said about doing a little village and something that represents each team?
Oh no. What, like how Disney World does beers from around the world? Oshawa's is going to be a soap flavored beer.
You said it.
No. Hey. Here's what you do. No. Oshawa, the general. No, I don't know. Generals or OHL. Go buy every pack of Thrills you can find. Soap gum. Go find every pack possible and hand that out at the draft festival. There you go. It is awful. Oh, it's so bad.
BC types that he loves Thrills. All right, BC. I'll bring you some. I got connections.
I mean, just visit Oshawa's booth, man. You'll be good.
And now you know why we've been high for the last 2 weeks. I had to shower off my germs. Anyone listening knows we were going to have fun with that one. And I hope that's waiting an hour and 15 minutes. You just got your money's worth on that one. The fourth pick, the Oshawa Generals. Shout out to Cowan and Sound with his tweet of the day this afternoon, too. That was unbelievable in the power rankings. Man. Greg Cowan's a beauty. Shout out to Greg Cowan with that. He knows social media. He's unbelievable at Twitter. I get a few kicks out. I know we all get a few kicks out of his posts. The third pick, dropping 2 spots, the Brampton Steelheads. It's the week of the drop, the week of the top, the rise. And the Brampton Steelheads have the third pick in the draft. You drop 1 spot. It's not Oshawa bad, but you're upset. But it's like, okay, it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah, for sure.
The number 1 pick in this year's OHL February 24th edition of the Draft Simulator, the most important simulator in the OHL world to date. The Erie Otters. Congratulations, Erie. Matthew Schaefer. Now you get the first pick here. Congratulations to the Erie Otters and Sarnia picking 2. There's your list. Wow. I mean, dramatic turn of events. Erie 1, Sarnia 2, Brampton 3, Oshawa 4. Tough one. Tough one for the Generals. Tough one for the Steelheads. Great for the Sting. Perfect for the Otters.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your lottery simulator this week. It's a big one. February 24th as we get a little closer to it. Drama starts.
Everybody start building up to the draft lottery. That's all anyone cares about. No one cares about the playoffs. We want the draft lottery.
Talking playoffs.
Who cares about playoffs? Skip the playoffs. Just get to the lottery.
It's like practice. Yeah, it's like practice. Playoffs. We got to win a game. Never forget
that'll do it for this week's show. Again, a huge thank you to Joey Costanzo for joining us on the show. all-time wins leader in Windsor Spitfires history. He's got 100 victories in the Ontario Hockey League. Just really appreciate his time. So thank you for him for joining us and chatting all things Windsor Spitfires, his career, and we're really excited for him and what the Spitfires can do as well. They're in a battle for the West Division title with the Flint Firebirds and the Sioux Greyhounds for that matter. So excited to see them down the stretch.
You know what's cool about Joey, too? How he really praised the OHL about not the NCAA. I thought that was kind of neat, too, about how, because a lot of guys get caught up in NIL nowadays with the NCAA. It's really cool that his goal is to be a pro goaltender and play in the NHL. I thought that was really cool as well.
Yeah, absolutely. His goals have stayed the same, which is awesome. So thank you to him. Thank you to BC for running the show behind the scenes. For Colin Ward, I'm Reece Doumani. Thank you so much for tuning in to the OHL in 60 podcast, and we will chat again in 7 days.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.